getting very tiresome how much energy it takes just to do something like this. Everything from getting out of bed to going back to bed at night, because it's already like after 11, which is very early for me still. Usually somewhere around 1 I'll go to sleep. Anywho, but everything is like this monumental effort. And the more I do around people, the harder it is. And there are several reasons for this, but the truth of the matter, when you break it down, when I break it down, is pretty much that the devil is a liar, and I'm listening to about 60% of what he's telling me still. It's disguised as other things, perhaps, but it's still him, and I'm still listening. Even though I'm disavowing him every day, I'm repenting, I'm praying, everything else, he's a pretty good master of disguise. It makes it seem like all these feelings are just mine, and that I don't have a right to tell anybody my story, that nobody's going to listen, nobody's going to care, nobody's going to buy my album, etc., etc., etc. And this is after years of working on this. 60%. I used to listen to probably a good 80% of what he said. But now I'm at least able to function and keep a job and, you know, tell people hi and talk to people that I don't know on the phone, which used to take me a great deal longer than it does now. Not that I don't still struggle with that too, but less so. And basically the reason I'm telling you guys any of this, all two of you, the two of you that continue to tune in, and believe me, I thank you both for doing that. Is because I know other people are dealing with the same thing. That's why I'm making the album, because I know that Christianity is not, you know, it's not just this simple thing of you accept Christ as your Lord and Savior and then everything's peachy. That is sometimes the narrative that is handed to us. Oh, I really need better lighting. I understand this. But yeah, it's like you accept Christ, and then that's sort of when the devil comes in and says, oh, do you now? Let's find out how lovable you really are. Let's find out how much you're really saved. Let's see how bad you can mess up within the first week of you declaring your everlasting love for him. You know, this is the kind of stuff that goes on in not just my head, but everybody's head to some degree or another. And of course, the further away we get from God, really the less torment in that regard that we can have, because he doesn't have to fight quite as hard for us, because we're already going down, such as it is. But if we're saved, we can expect some serious pushback. That's how it is. And pastors, boy, howdy, do they get it. And that's why you see like several pastors and half their flock gone like overnight. You know, it's like we have to remain vigilant. We have to remain obedient. We have to remain in the Word. We have to not only put on the full armor of God, we have to keep it on every single moment of every single day. It's war, y'all. It's tiresome, but it's like, God doesn't sleep. Why am I like burdening myself with all this garbage? So anyway, back to what right do I have to post videos, to make poetry, to create music? What right do I have to think well of myself at all? Especially when the so-called evidence suggests that, from other people that, are basically confused about their own lives, that when there's evidence from people that maybe I'm not worth talking to, or I'm not worth going out of their way for, despite what they've said previously. Actions, as you know, tend to speak louder than that. But that's just the thing, is like, man can only do so much for any one person anyway. They're all dealing with their own things, they're all dealing with their own sense of isolation, and they're not always going to do the right thing. They're not always going to act the right way or think the right thoughts either, just like me. They're dealing with their rejections, and unfortunately, especially if they're not saved, they're going to pass that on. That's just not even a matter of if, really. They will be used by the enemy to, be the downfall of others, especially believers. That's again how this thing works. And the more we become aware of that, the more we become versed in that, the better off we're going to be. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to feel better, but it means we're going to be better. We're going to be sanctified. I need a dang ring light. This is driving me nuts. I'll just like throw $300 at it real quick, and yeah, that'll make everything all better. Anywho, but the whole thing about imperfection is we all suffer from it. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, gosh, I look amazing. Or very few people. There might be a couple of, narcissists that do that. But it's not normal. It's not a normal thing. People go up, they look in the mirror if they're feeling really brave. First thing in the morning, they go, wow, I got dark circles. My hair is so messed up right now. How did I gain 2 pounds by doing nothing? Etc. It's like we all go through it, but it's like we're so isolated, especially right now. It's like we think we're the only people that are going through it. It's kind of ridiculous, but that's the mental stuff that we all endure. But here's another funny thing. It's like some people go through a whole thing of, I don't deserve to have a relationship with God. When I get better, then I'll ask him into my heart. I've heard that directly. But it's like, I'm starting to see certain ways in which I'm somewhat like that too. Not with prayer, because I'm praying all the time. But the most powerful way that I pray, and this was shown to me, and that I was used as a kind of a catalyst or a conduit, what have you, for deliverance for somebody. And the thing that worked the absolute most was singing. And that stuck with me. And that's what even that person said, that the singing snapped them back as profound. So it's like, in a way, I'm withholding the most powerful prayer by not working on this album the way I need to be. I'm in disobedience. It's basically, what right do I have to withhold that, is what message I'm getting. And it's like that with you too. What right do you have to withhold the talents and gifts and calling that God gave you one more minute? Who are any of us to do that? And I have to view myself as a musician, and it's so hard. It's like singing comes more naturally to me. None of the rest of it does. I struggle with it all the time. But that doesn't mean I can't get good at it, because it's still in my heart. It's still in my soul. It's still something that when I start doing it, I feel right about it. I feel peace about it. I wasn't always good at retail either, but I just kept at it and at it and at it. I guess I was always decent with customer service, but but the cashiering part, not so much. But now I'm getting, I'm excellent at it. I've been there for a considerable period of time, and yeah, I'm good at all sorts of things involved with my job that I never thought I'd be good at, and I am, because I kept at it. As my roommate says, persistence and perseverance is the key, and that's at least partially true. You gotta keep going forward, and I'm doing that too, but I don't want to keep crawling forward. I want to be sprinting by now. Now I'm making better choices every day, but I'm gonna need some serious supernatural intervention to get this thing going more. I'm just feeling such a pull for this to be done. I have like all but 3 sets of music lyrics completed, and the rest are an outline or keywords or whatever. I have 4 finished songs, and I have 12 more musically speaking to finish, and that sounds like a lot to me. But at the same time, there's always tunes going in my head, and I write them down. It's just little sets of notes. I don't know where a lot of them go right now. It's all very chaotic, but that's part of it. That should be part of the challenge and the excitement of the music writing process, is that they go somewhere. I have to have faith in that. They go somewhere because I'm supposed to make the album. I'm supposed to know mandolin. I'm supposed to learn piano, keyboard, whatever. I'm supposed to incorporate the drums. I'm supposed to do that. That's one of the things I'm supposed to do. It might be one of the main things I'm supposed to do. So it's... But yeah, Moses said the same thing. It's like, why are you picking me? I'm completely unqualified to do this. And God said, oh, so I'm like, I picked you, so does that make me chopped liver? That's really paraphrasing, but so we're sort of blaspheming God when we're like, gift schmift, take it back. We don't need that. I don't need to do that. I'll just sit here and waste away. That's what Jewish grandmother in me says that. I'll just be over here being ignored, being invisible. Don't mind me. Anyway, but yeah, it's like we need to be obedient. We need to be in the Spirit, in the Word, not in our flesh, and certainly not listening to that bozo that's going downhill no matter what happens. He needs to take as few people with him as possible. And if we are obedient in that, then maybe obedient to God, then then maybe there will be fewer people in turmoil and in a bad way here and afterwards. Maybe it's not up to us per se, except to say yes. Say yes to what God wants to do in us. To be on all one accord. That's what we're supposed to be about. That's what we're supposed to be as a church. Hands and feet. This is part of what that is. Some people are, meant to build amazing homes, and some people are meant to drive people from one place to another. Nick Vujicic, Vujicic, however you pronounce his last name, apparently in high school, his janitor opened up to him and said, "You should do public speaking." And he's been a motivational speaker for most of his adult life, and he has a wonderful life, and God's using him all over the world. So we need to be the hands and feet. We need to be the salt and light. We need to be a reflection of God, like the moon is a reflection of the sun. And that is one of the main reasons we're here. And it doesn't necessarily all have to make sense. All we have to do is look at the giants that are in the town and go, God's bigger than them. We can take them. We can take them all. You with me?